You know that feeling when someone looks at you and you feel smaller, when their words twist reality and suddenly you doubt what you knew was true. They feed on that moment. The second you hesitate, the instant you question yourself instead of them, but there is a shift that happens in your mind that changes everything. A shift so subtle they never see it coming. When you make this shift, manipulators do not just lose their power. They fear you because you become the one thing they cannot control. Someone who sees the game while they are still playing it. Someone who stays calm in the chaos they create. This is not about fighting back or exposing them. This is about a mental position that makes their tactics dissolve before they even land. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what this shift is. And once you make it, you will never be the same target again. The shift is this. You stop needing them to see you as right. That need is the hook they use. Every manipulator knows this about human nature. We want to be understood. We want to be validated. We want the other person to admit what they did. So we explain. We defend. We gather evidence like lawyers building a case. And while we do that, they watch us burn energy, proving ourselves. They never planned to admit anything. They just needed you to chase that admission. Because chasing keeps you tied to them. Explaining keeps you in their frame. But when you stop needing them to validate your reality, something breaks in the dynamic. You become unreachable. Not because you are cold or distant, because you know what you know and their denial does not change it. Think about how a manipulator operates. They test boundaries with small distortions. They say something happened differently than it did. They rewrite a conversation you both had. If you react with confusion or frustration, they know they can bend your reality. If you argue and explain, they know you still need their agreement to feel certain. But if you simply hold your truth without needing them to confirm it, they hit a wall. You are not playing the game anymore. You are not handing them the control they need. This is not about being stubborn or dismissive. This is about internal sovereignty. Your reality does not require external validation to exist. When a manipulator says something that contradicts what you know, you do not argue. You do not try to convince them. You just let their words sit in the air between you. You let the lie be a lie without needing to correct it. This creates a strange effect. They expected resistance. They built their strategy around your need to be right. When that need is gone, their tactics have nothing to grab onto. They start to feel exposed, because manipulation only works when the target doubts themselves. When you stop doubting yourself, you stop being a target. You become a mirror, and manipulators hate mirrors. Let me give you an example of how this looks in real time. Someone accuses you of something you did not do. The old you would defend immediately. The old you would list facts and timelines. The old you would need them to take it back. The shifted you does something different. You stay quiet for a moment. You feel the accusation land but not penetrate. You look at them with calm eyes. You might say something simple like, "That is not what happened," or you might say nothing at all. Then you move on. No explaining, no pleading, no need for their acknowledgement. You know your truth, and that knowledge is enough. Watch what happens next. They will push harder. They will add details to the accusation. They will try to make you react. But you stay in that quiet certainty. And eventually they realize they are performing for someone who is not watching the show. This is the moment they fear, because their power was always based on your participation. Your anger gave them energy. Your explanations gave them material. Your need to be understood gave them leverage. Without those things, they have to face themselves. And that is the last thing a manipulator wants to do. Now, let me be clear about what this shift is not. It is not pretending you do not care. It is not building walls or shutting people out. It is not about winning or dominating. It is about something deeper. It is about trusting your own perception more than you fear their distortion. It is about valuing your peace more than you value being right in their eyes. Most people never make this shift because it feels like giving up. It feels like letting the manipulator win. But here is the truth. You only lose when you stay in the battle they created. You only lose when you keep trying to get them to see what they will never admit. The moment you step out of that fight, you reclaim something they can never touch. Your inner stability, your mental clarity, your sense of self that does not depend on their validation. This is what they fear most. A person who cannot be gaslit because they trust their own mind. A person who cannot be guilt-tripped because they know their own heart. A person who cannot be manipulated because they do not need anything from the manipulator. When you embody this shift, you do not have to announce it. You do not have to confront them or explain what you have realized. You just become different. Your energy changes. Your responses change. The way you hold yourself in their presence changes, and they feel it immediately. Suddenly their words do not land the way they used to. Suddenly you are not reacting the way you used to. Suddenly they are working harder for less return. This frustrates them deeply, because manipulators need efficiency. They need to control you with minimal effort. When you require more energy than you are worth to manipulate, they start to back off. Not because they respect you more, because you stopped being easy supply. You became expensive, and manipulators always move toward easy targets. So they will test you. They will try the old tactics to see if the shift is real. They will push buttons that used to work. They will create situations that used to make you doubt yourself. But if you hold this mental position, those tests confirm what they feared. You are no longer controllable. And once they know that one of two things happens, either they leave you alone, or they escalate briefly before they leave you alone. The escalation is their last attempt to pull you back into the old dynamic. It might look like rage. It might look like sudden kindness. It might look like playing victim. But if you stay in your shifted state, even that escalation dissolves into nothing, because you are not feeding it. You are not giving it the reaction it needs to survive. Let me tell you what happens inside you when you make this shift. You stop feeling like you are in a battle. You stop feeling like you have to defend your version of reality. You just exist in your truth quietly. And that quiet truth is louder than any argument you could make. It sits in the room like gravity, undeniable, unshakable. Not because you forced anyone to see it, because you stopped needing anyone to see it. This is the power they cannot stand. This is the position that makes them fear you. Not your anger, not your intelligence, not your ability to expose them. Your complete and total independence from their perception. You do not need them to admit what they did. You do not need them to apologize. You do not need them to change. You know what you know, and that knowing is enough. When you live from that place, manipulation becomes impossible. Because manipulation requires your participation, it requires your doubt. It requires your need to be seen and validated. Without those things, the manipulator is just someone talking to themselves, and they know it, and that knowing terrifies them, because it means they lost the only power they ever had, the power you gave them when you needed something from them. Take that need away, and you take everything. So remember this. The manipulator does not fear your anger. They do not fear your words. They fear the moment you stop needing them to validate what you already know. That is the shift. That is the power. And once you make it, you carry it everywhere. not as a weapon. As a fact, you become the person who cannot be moved. And that is the person they will always fear. Subscribe to the channel and do not stop at this video. They are still using tricks you have not noticed. The next video will show you how they do it, and once you see it, you will never see people the same way again.